Oh no.
I might randomly mute myself and it's, oops, I need to take this banner down.
I will. I can fill
Um,
blinks. If you notice, I can fill silences with talking.
oops, hold on. I got to change. This Twitter needs to be something different. Oh, wow, good to know.
Let's see if we can promote the YouTube link.
Okay. Yeah, sorry. So if I randomly mute myself, it's probably because I'm coughing.
No problem.
Me. Okay, good. It's going. Yeah, so this is the first school year that I'm not a part of. Like, my first start of the school year that I don't work in education.
Oh yeah, that's what you were a teacher.
Yeah, yeah, I was a math
That's
teacher and
right.
a librarian, but my former library aide texted me yesterday. She's like, "I'm back at work today." I was like, "Oh my gosh, it's so weird."
I know what you mean. Yeah, it's almost the same feeling you got probably after you graduated high school, where it's like all the you know what I mean. Like,
Oh
well,
yeah,
everybody's yeah. I don't know if you actually you probably went to college, but I didn't. So I had that feeling. You know, I mean, I was working, but it was like oh, school year's starting back up. Don't have to go do that, and
yeah.
then and then there's a little bit of like, well, I kind of miss it actually.
Or
Everybody's
yeah,
forced to go to the same spot.
or like I know that like whenever I would be sick or something. Hey, Amelia. That's what I meant. I meant to take this banner down. Whenever I was sick, and like you'd be like, "Oh, everyone's in first period right now, but not me."
Yeah. Yes. Yes. You're right. That's what it. Lucky. Yeah. Your mom. Yeah. My mom would take me to the doctor, right, and then right after it's like, can I please get some like McDonald's or something on the way? That way, I'm like, I'm extra cool today. I got
Yes.
McDonald's breakfast and yeah.
Show comments over here. Okay, there we go. No, the teacher is not back.
Yeah.
Good morning, Melanie. Oop, I feel a cough coming.
Let's see. Do you know did you hear about the guy that was addicted to the hokey pokey?
No, I did not.
He turned himself around.
That's what it's all about. Good morning, Chris Lane Jones. Good morning, Carbon and Cole and Michael.
So how many kids do you have?
3,
Three. Oh
9, 6,
wow.
and 6. Yeah,
Two. Oh, you have twins.
yeah.
Oh man, yeah. My best friend had twins. It was
Yes,
my it was fun. My best friend has twins, and it was like he was nervous when she announced she was pregnant. He was scared. She was fine, and then whenever they said it was twins, she joined him
oh
in the
goodness.
scaredness. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? She was like, "Oh, I'm ready for this. I'm ready to be a mom." And then it was like two, two for one.
Oh yeah, yeah. It was very scary.
Me and my brother had the same birthday, 2 years apart. So there's a little bit of
Oh wow. Isn't that
a
called like
twin
Irish
feel.
twins or something? Or
Yeah,
is
I
it that
think
1 year
so.
apart?
I think Irish twins is when they're 1 year apart, and
Oh, okay.
yeah, because it's like the joke is that Catholic Irish is not knock them out
Yeah, that's
every
funny.
year,
Yeah,
every year. Yeah.
that's funny. Yeah, we do love the dad jokes, David. Dave. Um, so yeah, this is everybody, this is Jeremy. I know you have, oh, look who's here, my boss. Everyone be on your best behavior. I'm just kidding. Uh,
Stop talking
no,
about him. No,
yeah. So this is Jeremy Ashley. This is I've never
we
I don't know
spoke
if
at
we've
CYC
yeah, because
just
I
for
was gonna
like
say I know that
briefly.
we've like okay, I was gonna say I don't think that we've like hung out yet, but I know that we were at like CYC And I think
then we're in.
the one Dallas meetup that I did go to, I'm not sure even if you were there, but we know each other through the Dallas software developer community. And, I feel like I'm always in the chat. Like we're always messing around in the chat whenever, not messing around, but you know what I mean? Like whenever the monthly events are going on, and it makes it a lot of fun. It makes it more entertaining for those that can't be there in person. But yeah, so Jeremy's been super funny and chill. He has really good AI animation posts that you do. Um, and yeah, so he's going to talk to us about his transition. If y'all have any questions regarding that, because I know, laid off lounge, it's not just for folks that are laid off. It's more for the transitioners, which, happens when you do get laid off as well. But yeah, so Jeremy, if you want to talk more about yourself, and then we'll go
Yeah.
on, move into your journey.
Yeah, I mean, I'm a software engineer. I'm a career transitioner. I worked in the grocery store before I transitioned to tech. I'm a father of two lovely kids, and I'm a huge part of the DSD community. It's a Dallas software developer. They put on CYC, the Commit Your Code conference. That's where I met Roxy the first time. We spoke briefly, but other than that, we're back and forth in the chats, right? Um, I'm a big proponent in the community and helping people, like, I guess, give advice, figure out what's the best path forward for them to make their way in tech, because it's much like you hear about, like, people trying to make it into the entertainment business. It's not the same story for everybody. You want to be a teacher, you go to college, you get a master's degree, and then when you get out, you can apply to a school district, and they need teachers everywhere. In tech, they need people, but they have to know that they can hire you, because there's no certificate. There's no, medical school you go to for them to know that you're a brain surgeon. You know what I mean? They just have to. They got to quiz you up and down, and they'll quiz you harder if you don't have a college degree, because they want to make sure you know it. I know from experience.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, that's me. I guess that's it. I mean, do you want me to talk about, like, how I figured out that I wanted to be in tech?
Yeah. So because you didn't start off in tech a lot. I guess we call it the traditional route when people get like the CS degree and everything. And we were just talking about earlier how you didn't go to college. So, and you were just saying that you get quizzed even harder for that. So yeah, tell us what that really looks like, because I know you mentioned what starting over looks like and feels like. So yeah, definitely
Yes.
interested
Yeah.
in that.
Let's do that. Let's talk about what. I worked for Aldi, a grocery store, and I haven't. I've already had the surgery. I had, like, some kind of ankle issue. It's something called fallen R syndrome. It's where your ankle bone, like, falls down. Like, it happens slowly over time. So eventually it hurt to walk, so I had to get surgery, reconstructive surgery on both my ankles. Took me
Wow.
6 months to recover, and doing the physical therapy, like in the movies when they're learning to walk again.
Oh
Yeah,
my
I had to do that.
goodness.
Yeah, and so, like, during that time, I was like, what if I lose my legs forever? What if I'm in an accident? I can't work at a grocery store if I'm paralyzed, right? So I thought about that, and then also I got bored playing Call of Duty 8 hours a day, because, like, I'm just recovering from a surgery. So
Yeah.
I fired up Free Code Camp and did HTML, CSS, and started a little bit of JavaScript. And then by that time, I had healed up, and I went back to work at Aldi. And then I was just like, dude, I want to be I want to do this, because when you start searching this stuff, you start seeing the influencers on IG talking
Oh
about,
yeah.
in 3 months you get a job and your life is turned upside, it's flipped automatically. Now you're in six figure, and I was just like, that's what I want. Of course, I realize it's all, it's rainbow, it's all rainbows and sparkles, and it's not exactly going to work out that way. But I wound up, like, wanting to pursue how to code full time. So I was like, let me do this officially. So I joined UTD's boot camp. They had a 3 month boot camp, and they gave me all the fundamentals. But it's funny because, like, half the time I was learning stuff that I already knew from Free Code Camp. I thought I was going to be like getting a bunch of new stuff. So like
Yeah.
that's one of the big things I want to like tell people is that I think I know everything you can learn in a boot camp is on like these free resources, Free Code Camp, 100 Devs, the Odin Project, a lot of this stuff because with in this cohort of this boot camp, there's like 20 or 30 people, and these people and they can't really give you the individual mentorship you need if someone's trying to teach you like a tutor. So you wind up being like told what something is, and then go and research it yourself anyway. And that's what's going to happen if you just learn on your own anyway. You're going to be told what something is, and then you keep reading about it.
Yeah. Yeah, I know some people need the structure, but that's really good when, you can do it on your own. And then I guess the boot camp just kind of like emphasized everything for you. And I don't know, I feel like that's also a good way to learn is to hear it again. Or maybe we're tutoring classmates.
Yeah, actually, I mean, a lot of some of that happened in the beginning, and then I felt like I got behind because some of the people advanced past me when it came to like a really fundamentals of like I guess like more advanced JavaScript stuff. Like I'm asking classmates what's this and that. And the funny thing is, a lot of those people that I was paired up with in projects and within they don't have a role yet. And we graduated that boot camp in 2023. And like it wasn't even in my mind that I wouldn't have a role. I didn't care that there was a tech recession or whatever. It was in my head that I'm gonna make it. It's just a matter of time. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's a really good mindset to have.
Yeah, and so I mean, and part of it's not just that. It's like because I mean I'll just work at because I wound up quitting Aldi because I couldn't learn. I couldn't put all the effort in and also work 50 hours a week managing a staff. You know what I mean? It's just like, it's not possible. People on my day off, I'd get phone calls sometimes just, hey, how do I do this? You know what I mean? Yeah. And so like, in text, I'm scheduling and all that stuff. So I wouldn't have the free time. So I wound up quitting so that I could pursue the career, and it kind of worked out. But I tell you, as soon as the biggest tip that I tell people about like trying to break in is start your own company. Like, because you can like with they talk about forming an LLC that helps you in case if you deliver a product somebody tries to sue you for it or whatever, but you don't even have to have an LLC to start a company. You could just get in Texas specifically, you could just have like a business like a business license. That way you can like almost in a way trademark the name of the company. But
and you're talking kind of like freelancing.
Yeah, for freelancing, because I reached out to family members, friends, and asked them if they needed something, they had a business. I know you have a business, you don't have a website. Can I make one for you? Or you have a website, can I make one for you? Even if like the first one I did was free, which it was. The first one I did was like, let me just do it for you for free. It's like you'll do it for free. Yeah, I'll make a brand new website. It'll look better. It'll and it also give me something to show the next business I want to sell to. And then my biggest, improvement with clients was driving by or not driving and doing this, but like maybe when I passed by a business, I'd write it down and then I'd look up that business and like a local little, smoke shop or a local restaurant, see if they have a website. And that's kind of like, that's the way in first, because then you start selling them on custom software. Start selling them, what are your pains? And I'd always start with some number and be able to negotiate it down so quickly. Just get on a subscription. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's awesome.
Reaching out to people is tough, I know, in businesses for some people. For me, I can, if you notice right here, I can talk up a storm. I can just, you know what I mean? And if I got to sell something to somebody, I can do it. You know what I mean? If I talk to you and you're a business owner and you need some kind of software, even if you don't know it yet, I could get you on it. I could get your part banked in on it, because I can present it and sell it in such a way. Even if it's here's a good sales point. When let's say you're trying to break in and you trying to get your first or second client. When you're talking to this business, it's a small business. You tell them, I started my small business. I built custom software for people. Let me like I want to help. I want to make something for you as well. Like let's and if you pay whatever you pay me is tax deductible because it's for your business. Instead of paying Uncle Sam, you could pay another business and then I help you out. We both help each other out. And then even if you get like even if you dwindle them down to wherever they are, like you can start with like, oh, what do you need? Like a good metric for people is like 50 $100 an hour, whatever you think you want to do. And then it's like, oh, this is a landing page, I'll make this in 1 hour. That's $100 1 hour. And but now with a lot of these tools you could build a website pretty fast. The chassis in, tailwind, and then even like using CLI tools.
Yeah.
So you can knock it out in 20 30 minutes, and then you know what I mean. So
yeah, no, I agree. And so I know someone commented that reaching out to people is the hardest part. And yeah, I agree. For me, that was really intimidating. I was lucky that through connections, I got freelance work instead of having to cold call, basically, which I think
right.
is super brave, and I commend you for it. And I know that we also have some people that are really shy about networking, without making it feel, I guess, kind of cringy. So, what are your tips for, building your support network? I know you have a lot of, I feel like you have a really strong foundation with the Dallas Software Developer Group. So, what are some tips for you that you could give other people regarding going to meetups and helping with them and everything that you do?
Right. Okay. So I think I'm glad Yoda commented. Perfect. She made a post the other day specifically about like showing up, and that's the biggest factor in building a community. So the Dallas Software Developer Group I think used to be like the Free Code Camp of Dallas or something like that,
Yeah.
and then I think because of the name they had to change it because
Mm.
it's like an affiliation thing. You know what I mean? What if something happened? Whatever. You know what I mean?
Oh
And so
yeah,
they
we have a group in Houston that was like that. Yeah, yeah,
yeah. So I found the Free Code Camp, like I don't know, Facebook page, and then I click on a link, and it takes me to Dallas Software Developer Groups, like their meetups.com page. And so I go to my first meetup the week after I graduated from the boot camp, and then I'm sitting around. Um, I like I'm a talker, so I'm going up to people, meeting them, asking them what's trying to introduce myself to find out and ask them for tips. But I didn't miss a meetup for DSD specifically for I think 2 years.
Wow.
It wasn't until I landed. It wasn't until I landed my first full time role, and even like 6 months into that I even missed my first because I was sick or something. I made it. I mean, I didn't have a car when I was first going there. My
Oh, wow.
when I left Aldi, a car accident, and now I don't have a lot of money, so I'm not fixing the car. So I was taking the bus, and taking the bus from downtown Dallas to Plano is not, bus train,
Ooh.
yeah.
Yeah, that's like downtown to the suburbs. Yeah.
I was reading books. I was reading stuff on coding. I was on my laptop, and then when I got there, I was ready to talk about stuff that I just read, even just then. You know what I mean? And so
Yeah.
yeah, um, networking, but like um, a good thing to try to do with people when you're networking is just try to ask them like okay, so what are you using right now? What are you building? And they tell you something. Okay, so like, look, I'm new. Let's say I just graduated. Like, if I could go back in time, I would ask this question more. But like, let's say I just graduate the boot camp and I go to my first meetup. Look, I just graduated the boot camp. I put my first real lines of code in September of 2022. Before that, it was a little bit of free code camp here and there. I was like, but what if you could talk to yourself when you first started learning to code and when you have an introductory to everything, what would you do right now to improve yourself or make yourself better for the market? That's a great question to ask people, because so many people will be like, oh, I would do this. You get a list of stuff, and then you say, somebody said this, what do you think, in the next conversation? And then they can combat with you and tell you exactly what's they just give you more information. You know what I mean? Just like more, and you don't have to take everybody's advice. Like
Yeah.
me telling you to walk up to the business and say, "Hey, can I build you a website?" That might not be your best area to do it. to do something in. But you know, but like if it sounds good, use it for yourself.
Yeah, and that's why I love hearing everybody's stories because, like you said um, earlier, like your entry point. We have there's the traditional route, and then there's like so many different other, even going the traditional route, there's all these different entry points, there's all these different techniques that work for people. And so it's great to hear what you did, and then all the other things that you also did. And I think that it helps us help so much more of our audience, or offer them some motivation or ideas that they can work on. And I know that there were a couple questions about what tools you're using. Someone was asking about
Yes, that's what I
CMS.
was gonna say. Yeah,
Mhm.
so uh, for a content management system, you know, like we're using, I guess with so I started a position at Craft Digital. I've been there for like a month and a half now. I still have my business, but there it's a consulting firm basically. So we you reach out to us to fix something for you or build something for you. So it's like it's an audible each time. You know what I mean? We're self-hosted Strappy, right? We could use Strappy. I've built for clients individually. Used like headless WordPress before. It just it you know it's like I like Strappy because it's self-hosted. If I can rent some server space off Hetzner, I can put it up there myself. Then I can I don't have to. I'm not limited with like rate limits and stuff like that to some of these things that exist. But that's kind of maybe my go-to CMS tool. Probably, I think yeah, WordPress, Strappy, and then I mean there's so many different things now that you wouldn't even consider, but it's close to it.
Yeah, and then somebody was asking, there's someone that's a freelance dev,
Mhm.
and they're wondering how they can get their first project. They said they tried calling 50 businesses, but no luck, and they're an introvert.
I wouldn't even do the calls that if you're trying to get like the first project. I'd go in person. You walk in person, you know, and if I'm you, even if you're an introvert, here's what you do. If it's a restaurant, perfect. You go there for lunch. You walk in, you order a sandwich or some chicken, whatever it is, and then you sit down and you eat it and you check their website. Or you can look at it ahead of time, see if they don't have a website. Then you can walk up and ask for the manager or the owner and just be like, hey, I just ate some of your food. It was amazing. And I wanted to like share the menu with my friend, but your website, you don't have a website, or I couldn't find it quickly. Maybe whatever kind of thing you can introduce. And it's like, I do this stuff for a living. I'm a freelance developer. Would you be interested in me building something for you? Like, well, I don't know if I can afford. It's like, oh, listen, like I'm trying to break into tech, so I want to get a full time role somewhere. So this freelance gig is just for me to gain experience. So like I'm not trying to charge you an arm and a leg. I just want to build something for you. And then if they're like, oh, okay, well, even if they're like no to then it's like, look, it'll take me an hour to build what you need, just an hour, 2 hours, whatever you say. This is how much I normally charge. And if they're like, oh, you bring it down, $100 an hour, bring it down to 50 an hour. Like, I don't know. And that's okay. Never mind. Thank you. Leave. You could still build their website for them, and then show up later and be like, look, I've already made it. What do you think? And it's like you don't have to pay me for the labor. Now you can just pay me to put it up and maintain it. How much is that? And then you can negotiate that with them. If they say no, now you have a template for the next business. You can show. Just change some of the stuff around and then show up, and then you already have something ready for the next business that needs something. And you put that on your portfolio as a project, as a
Yeah,
self project.
I was about to say that. Good point. Yeah. Yeah, totally. And I know a lot of us know Leon Noel, and I know that that's also some advice that he gives. He usually uses
Yeah,
like a
yeah,
pizza shop as an example. But yeah, and
exactly.
then
Yeah,
there
and
you go. And then, if it doesn't work out, you have a portfolio project.
100%. Yeah, it's funny because like it's a great minds thing. You know what I mean? Like before I even met him, I had that I had that idea of like I guess work push comes to shove, I built something that I can just make it a project piece, and then you can build on it from there. build it, make some kind of like it's a digital menu online that they can update themselves by logging in, blah blah blah, keep changing it, and then when you sell it to somebody else, maybe they don't want that whole thing, they just want the landing page part. You could just make that for them, you know what I mean, and sell that to them. But if it's not your first project, what's the if it's not your first project, what does Leon's? Oh yeah, what's your budget looking like? That's one of the things. Like, what are your pains? I can do something for you. What's your budget like? That way, if they tell you, okay, I'm not spending more than $5,000, then you can like measure what you could do for that much. Maybe that's the biggest contract you've ever gotten, and so you're going to go. You're going to all no holds bar, and you're going to make the best thing you've ever built because that's a huge amount. I remember my first like $10,000 project was. I was like, I'm going all out. Now looking back, it's like, man, I cut that person a deal. They got a 10,000. They got a nice project for 10 grand, a big. But I wanted it to have something live to showcase in an interview. Even it was an internal tool, but I still had a login so I could demonstrate it. You know what I mean, and stuff like that. So yeah.
Do you have any opinions on, I guess, platforms like Upwork? Maybe what is it called? Like Fiverr. Fiverr's another one.
Fiverr, I think is how you say it. But
Fiverr.
yeah, I haven't used them because I did mine like, hey you, hey you, hey you. You know what I mean? Going to businesses, and then also like you need to go in and fail at doing that. Let me say that too. You need to go in and get shut down, and then don't worry about it. You go to the next one and get shut down. Or even like I said, you still build the website just for a project, even if they don't want it. But it's okay to keep failing at it because then you get better and better. I'm standing in line or not in line. I'm sitting like at the DMV waiting for my number to get called. I talk to the guy next to me. I've got a client. It's not a big client, something small he needs, but you get someone on a subscription, and now those add up. You know what I mean? $100 a month, $200 a month, 10 people. Now you got $1,000 or $2,000 coming in a month. That's just from the subscriptions. But you get better at selling that. But as far as like Upwork, I've never used those before. I didn't use them because some of the like you have to pay to put stuff to have like a profile or to even like bid at stuff. I was like, I was thinking, this to me it was an ends to a means. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I just need to get some freelance work so that I can demo this and then somebody hires me. That's all I'm looking for. But if my business grows more and more, and maybe I want to do that to get more clients, then yeah. I mean, I know somebody who got their first role through Upwork, a full-time role somewhere, and it was like $90,000 a year, right? And she gets to like on her she worked there for over a year, and so it shows on Upwork that she has made over $100,000 on Upwork, and so like that's like a piece to sell clients on. Listen, I'm an established developer. Even if it was one role, you know what I mean. I've made over $100,000 on this platform. It's like, oh my god! So people like she gets pushed up to an echelon, and can grab clients easier now.
Yeah, and yes, sorry. So I'm getting schooled on why it's called Fiverr over here by Danny.
Oh yeah, what was I say? Fiverr is 5R because the idea behind the platform is you can. Oh, I accidentally moved my mouse. I'll cover it up. Get someone to do work for Fiverr, aka. No way. That's a joke. Never mind. Okay. I was like, "There's no way."
No, I think I've heard that. Yeah, because like.
Oh, really?
I know in the past there were lots of jobs you could do for like really, because I think maybe that's how a lot of people build themselves up too. Is like they probably started really low at first, doing a quick favor for $5 or something.
Oh
you
yeah,
had a good point. Like, you have really great tips and you have a really great story. But like with, imposter syndrome, I feel like it hits everyone. Have you experienced it? And if you have, like, what is a way that like you were able to push past it? How did the community help? Do you have your own support system at home? Like, what's some information there?
Yeah, I have a two supportive family, where it's like if I start to like try to be introspective about something I've done, you know what I mean? It's always, oh, don't. I was like, no, it's okay to be introspective. It's okay to be like, oh, I need to work harder to make this work for me. But imposter syndrome, I kind of I kind of view it like as motivational fuel. I try to use it that way because when you start to feel imposter syndrome, it's because the weight of a project you have, right? And so it's like I've got to deliver. Like when that client signed for that $10,000, it hit hard. I was like, oh, okay, I got to get something. I've got to build. I've got to build something. I got to, which I wound up signing Diego. Him and I built that. Wound up doing that project together, and then extending it past that. I just want to give him a shout out, Diego. Um, Diego Espino, he's part of the DSD community as well. But yeah, like so imposter syndrome, use it as try to use it as fuel, but know that like I guess it would never go away. It's like it's anxiety, and I think it's a good thing because if you get too big for your head and you think that you know what you're doing in every situation, you might, bite off more than you can chew in some situations. You might say, "Oh yeah, I can deliver that," and you actually can't because you don't know. You know what I mean? And so it's a matter of, I think, one great way is if you're talking to a client and you're like, "Oh, we can work that out. It might take some time, but we can work that out because um, my confidence has grown the more projects I've taken on, the more I've built, and I think that's true for everybody. If you continue to build projects, I think you will start to realize that any real scary task that I'm given by my boss or by a new client is not it's not so bad because I didn't know how to do those other things either, but I figured it out as I was going. So so I guess the advice is to build and fail and cry a little. No, I'm gonna go back
Yeah.
to stocking produce. Is what at one point I was yelling at myself. It's like if I don't figure this out, I gotta go stock potatoes again.
Yeah. And it also helps, I guess, because you've been part of DSD for so long. It helps to have one or multiple communities, so people can commiserate with you. And then I love it. Like, I don't love it when people have bad days, but I love when you have that community where you can come in there when you're having a bad day and vent a little bit. And, people are going to go up there and lift you up, or, they're going to be like, hey, the same thing happened to me. We got this. We got to keep going.
Yeah, there's also like some like fake it till you make it. Like like when you write your resume, you're boosting it up. You're punching up. You're like, oh, built a whatever an intricate SaaS program for an internal tool the company to improve productivity across platforms and whatever. I mean, you kind of and really what you built was a multi login inventory tracking system. You know what I mean? For a business, but like you can pump that up and make it sound way better than it is, and you can do that with LinkedIn. You know what I mean? You could be like, oh, this, you know what I mean? Like but sometimes I get caught up in, or I've been told like oh, you gotta be careful, like of just posting that all the success you've had because like oh yeah, that makes sense right here, but like maybe you're like you're faking it too much or whatever. And my I was told by some advice from a family member, and I was like, I just don't want you to like be like lying. I said, I'm not lying. I'm just sometimes we don't recognize the wins because me when I first started coding, so 2020 JC 2023, me at 20 and 20 would have been so excited to land that first role and pump up every little thing I was learning. So there's no point in hiding it. You know what I mean? There's no point in being like, oh well, I guess I did start a role, but I don't want to tell them that I started learning this because then it'll make me look like I'm new to this. But that's this industry. You
Yeah.
learn something you learn something new and then you roll with it constantly.
Yeah.
So,
And I agree, making yourself more relatable
yes, yeah,
is,
well, yes.
and like this, I like this reminded me because at first I was like, oh, cool. Yeah. Tweet it out. And I was like, no, I don't love it when people have bad days, but it's true. Like, you do want to tweet, like, you do not want to get stuck in a cycle where you're constantly just complaining online because then you become that
The
person,
negative.
right?
Yeah.
But I think it is important that it's like, yes, definitely share your wins, share what you're learning, share your struggles, but I feel like a healthy balance makes you more relatable, makes people engage with you more. You might catch someone's eye when you're sharing your work and everything too. So
Commenting on LinkedIn. It's something you earlier about like social media posts. I think I got distracted, but like sharing on LinkedIn is a huge thing. You can schedule a post. I mean, somebody I really revere recently said I can't schedule posts because they never get enough traction, but my schedule posts do. But
And no, I
you
do. I agree. I think it depends on the platform. And I used to be a blogger and like social media. I would try to like figure out the algorithms for social media. And it's like, as long as you're consistent, as long as you're, and like you pick a good time when people are like, they're wrapping up their day. Maybe they're like checking Twitter, LinkedIn, or they're starting their day like slowly, like, let me check what's going on here. So I feel like mornings and evenings are really good. And it's like, if you just choose your day or days, make it, very intentional. The algorithm's like, hey, this is always happening at this time, like let me show it off more.
Yes, and if you do, so yeah, that's perfect. Like segue for me to say this thing that I always say is LinkedIn is social media. It's like a digital resume, but it's also a social media platform. So the more you post, the more you like, the more you comment, the more LinkedIn will promote your post, your comments, and your actions, thereby putting you in front of recruiters or hiring people without you even noticing, because whenever you search Dallas software developer or a Dallas software engineer on LinkedIn, the recruiters, they get me. I'm in the top 10, even though nine of the other nine guys have 10 years experience, maybe. Like I'm in, I come up in those searches, and I was coming up in those searches before I had a role because I'd already started to hack into this and this idea. But you could start simple with 2 posts a week minimum. If you're looking for
Yeah.
a role, 2 posts a week minimum. Post on Monday. That way it's up for Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. People like it
Hmm.
and share, and then make the next post like Thursday, because then it's like the end of the week. It could roll into there. You can start scheduling that, and then the more you like, uh, you'll be in the middle of your day, and you just learn what Strappy is, and you're like, I want to make a post about Strappy. There's nothing embarrassing about posting that you learn something new, and that's something to always remember, because some people don't want to make it seem like they just started. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But you're learning stuff new every day.
Yeah. And Jason mentioned scheduled post feeling inauthentic, but it's like it just depends what it is. It's like if it's a completely random thing, then you can tell it's scheduled, then yeah, like whatever. But whenever I worked in education, I would write something maybe during my lunch, but I would schedule it like for whenever I was done with work, so it's like fresh, but I scheduled it so that A, I wouldn't forget to post it, and B, like it wasn't during like my work hours, so I wouldn't get in trouble.
Right, because it
It
looks
doesn't
like you're
have to
not
be,
working.
yeah. Yeah, yeah.
Right.
So like when I say scheduling, and maybe when you're talking about it as well, or maybe you're just talking about posting at certain times in general and not scheduling. But I
Right.
think it varies, and you just have to find what works for you.
Yeah. Right. It's authentic if you write it. That's what somebody said. It's authentic if you write it, even if you use AI to help you start it, and you just change it to make it sound like you. And but if you're posting like the post, like if you worked with Strappy today for the first time, and or you figured out something that you didn't know was there, and you're like, oh, let me write a post about this. You could schedule that post for a week later, because maybe there's some event coming up and you've already got posts that whole week for, but you don't have a lot of posts for the following week. So then you're like, oh, let me schedule that, because that's not time sensitive. The time sensitive, like a meetup, or like you want to watch Roxy talk to Jeremy in the laid off lounge. You like, I need to post this now so that people know that I'm in there. So yeah. Anyway.
Yeah, but it is. I feel like it's a great way to connect with people too. Um, and obviously, like I think Danny and Leon have both mentioned, it's like you never know who's lurking. So it's like maybe they're not commenting or liking or whatever, but there might be like, some manager somewhere that's like just lurking and like keeping track of you.
Right.
And the more you post, the more they're like, you're winning them over.
Anytime you see a recruiter post something, follow them, like their post, comment on their post. Your name pops up a lot for them, and then whenever they go to
Mm.
search the whatever, and then also if you're looking for a position, once a month you should be posting about that. Hey, I'm a freelance developer, but I want a full time role somewhere, and you can minimize sell yourself and then put a link to your portfolio. You know what I mean? You don't have to post your resume each time. That doesn't make much sense. But it's just like, hey, if you know any, what I say, if you need a software developer who's battle tested and is a team player and knows how to help people learn something new while they learn, you can hire this guy right here. You know what I mean? That was like a meme, a picture of me pointing to myself. You know what I mean? And that every time I was, when I'm looking for a role, that's what I would do.
Yeah, no, I think it's good. Is this a question for Jeremy? And I'm sorry, I didn't know that you went by JC because I always see Jeremy like in the chat.
Either one's fine. One of them I was named.
Think,
the other ones I go by. Li.
Do you think
LinkedIn Premium?
A LinkedIn question? Yeah. Do you think it's worth paying for? I guess for like premium, maybe.
Yeah. I don't want to poo-poo it at all because it's pricey. So what I did was I didn't pay for it unless it was like a deal. They'll say, hey, first month for $1, second month for whatever, and it's like, so then it's like both months I can pay for that. When you have premium, they'll promote your post more, and so maybe if you're looking for a job and you've got the $20 or whatever to share, you could do that. Or if you have your own company and it's it could be a promotion for the business. You can, as long as you talk to an accountant or somebody properly on how to file that, it could be a tax write-off for you because you need to promote your business, right? But yeah, it's worth it if you can get it at a discount, whether that be military, student, or whatever. I think it's worth it for the promotion, but be careful because it's like $40. Last time I saw it was like $40 a month, right? Maybe.
Yeah. I had premium while I was looking for a job because it let me send more messages to people. Like
right, there's that.
Yeah, but I didn't think about the fact that, and it makes sense that like because when I dropped premium, my engagement did drop some. So I didn't think about that, but that makes sense because it's like obviously like if people are paying for the service, they're gonna get pushed.
Oh, so that's a motivation. So if you see, I get 2 months for the price of one, I'm going to do it for these 2 months, and then I'll cancel after that. Maybe if that's what you're going to do, then for those 2 months, you post like crazy. You repost
and send messages. Send messages.
DMs everywhere.
Yeah. No, but I think it was a really great tool, especially like for even practice interviews, because messaging recruiters on LinkedIn, I feel like I got so many, at least first round interviews that way. And that was just great practice for speaking and, getting prepared and everything for interview season.
Yeah. It's interview season. Yeah. and the more you post, the recruiters will be coming to you, even if it's not a role that you match well for. You know what I mean? You can always respond with, here's my resume. This sounds like what was it? It would happen to me a lot where they need 10 years experience. It's like, we need a senior developer because of how much I post and what I talk about. People think I have more experience than I do, right? So like if you're a recruiter, you just Google, you search, and it's the top 10 people. You send every one of them a message. I just respond with, look, like C#. You need C# on the back end. Sorry, I don't know how to code in C#. I could learn it. I'd be willing to, but I'm not sure if this role is willing to train. Here's my resume. If this one doesn't work out, we can keep in touch for the future. And like that right there, that nice quick engagement with them will put you, they'll remember you being nice like that. And they also have like a database that they'll put your information into. And then when that role pops up, they'll you might be top of the list.
Yeah, no, I agree. And one of the perks that I do miss is being able to see who exactly looked at your profile.
Yes.
That. Jason was saying the follow-up, like if someone peeks at you, go talk to them.
Yeah. And also one great piece of advice from Leon Noel from the programming podcast. Shout out for the programming podcast for Danny and Leon there.
Yeah, great advice on there always.
Yeah, I might be contractually obligated, maybe not. No, but I may have signed an endorsement deal. No, but what he says is when you want to connect with somebody And if I send you a message and you're a hiring manager, I'm like, hey, I'm a software dev, I'm looking for this. The first thing I'm going to do is ignore it, because I mean I get those messages right now, and I'm not even in like a hiring role. I'm in a senior role, so I would have a say in who they hire. But like, I get those messages right now, and like, the first message to somebody, if I don't know you, should be something like conversational. Like if you look at my profile, if you look at my bio, I think somewhere at one point, I don't know if I still do. I have Star Trek reference. Yes, I do. I have Star Trek referenced in my bio on LinkedIn. If you message me about something about Star Trek, I'm responding immediately. Like, oh, it's another Trekkie. Even if you're not a Trekkie, if you just say something about Star Trek, I'm like, oh, let me talk to you real quick about. Do you like the Kelvin timeline? You and now I'm going to go into a whole a whole conversation. But it's uh, connect with people on something they're interested in. Like they like Pokemon. If you go to their portfolio and you see that they've got they're into Pokemon, you can talk to them about, well, what was your favorite one? What was your favorite system to play Pokemon on? Stuff like that. You get somebody
Yeah.
intrigued, and then it's like, and then every once in a while you comment on their post, and then after you've messaged a few times, you could even have your own database. This is a project you could build. You could build a project where it's like it tells you, you enter like, I messaged this person on this day about this, and it could wait. That way you're not like hammering them every day about stuff, because then they know you're trying to like game the system. But it could be natural. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But yeah. So
No, I agree. And I know that you're not on I believe like Twitter and Blue Sky. You stick to LinkedIn. But that's one way that I definitely utilize Twitter is I thankfully have been able to make like a nice little tech Twitter feed. And I feel like that's been that and LinkedIn, but mostly Twitter, because that's where I feel like I can be more trolly. But that's where I like to like mess with people. Like if I've met them or if I'm going to meet them, I like to like remember little things and like either and like it always feels weird when you meet someone in real life and it's almost, I don't know, I think it's a good way to connect because it's like it feels so separate sometimes. So I think it's a good way to connect, to mention something like either via Twitter, like, hey, remember when this happened? Or like in person, be like, oh yeah, like whenever or like I saw that post or what, stuff like whenever I was a blogger, it was always weird because I'd be talking to someone and they're like, oh yeah, I read about that. And I was like, oh dang it. Like, what do I
yeah.
talk to you about now?
Yeah, that's funny. Yeah, I was right. And a blog is a great. That's a great thing. A blog is a great thing to do when you're trying to get hired. Create your own blog. Make it a part of your portfolio. That's an interesting thing you can demonstrate in a job somewhere. But so you can make it hosted. You can host it on a database like Supabase or Neon. These like post these database websites where you can host data. Like the free tier is large. So like you could really put a huge amount of blogs on there, and never go over the free tier that they have for that one project. But like it gives you an opportunity to promote yourself, send people to your portfolio, but also mention something you learned. And then what I started doing was at one point it was revisiting an old blog. I wrote a blog about something, and I'm like, dude, I didn't even dive into Tailwind that much, or maybe it was because it was still, maybe it was new. I didn't feel like it was new, but now I call myself a Tailwind master. Like I'm a I'm a Tailwind. I'm a Tailwind. What's it? Evangelical. I mean, so I'm trying to convert people to use Tailwind everywhere, so that I don't have to do vanilla CSS anywhere I work. But but like just a blog is a great engagement tool, and it feeds people anytime, especially if you have a great portfolio. And so you should really spend time to make it great. You could be pushing people to it all the time. You make it part of your, make it that button on LinkedIn, go to my portfolio. And then you can make it on the bottom of almost every one of your posts, just a link to my portfolio. Check out my portfolio. So you're constantly pushing people to, and then there you could track who views your portfolio. That's an interesting thing you could work out. Cause I never did this, but I thought about it, creating some kind of like tracking, like who went to my site, you know what I mean? Like you know what I mean? Try to like, if somebody comments or whatever, if they make like a, like you could try to track and see, what your traffic looks like. I've got 13 new visitors from this, whatever IP address. So.
Yeah. That's great. And I'm sorry, I was looking at what to ask you next because I know that
Go
you
ahead.
had
I'm a
no,
blabber.
no, no,
Sorry.
no, you're okay. But you had some bullet points that you showed me, and I feel like you've hit most of them. Um, I'm not sure. Maybe I feel like we've talked a lot about your wins and everything. What are some of the mistakes or setbacks that you would ask or that you would suggest like people skip or like not focus on?
Yeah, this is a great one. I like this. Let's making sure that you're prepared for the interview. You know what I mean? Like you're going to like the technical part of the interview. Or actually, whatever side that you need to work on, that's what you know. What I mean, you make sure you're prepared because I'm really good at selling myself, and I'm really good in these rooms. But you know, if you give me a really tough uh, coding DSA problem a year ago, I would have been sweating bullets trying to figure it out. And then even after the interview, which I had done already, driving home, just being like, "Oh God, that's I should have just done that. I couldn't. I was in the room with them, you know what I mean? So it was even more intimidating. I know how to do that. Why did I freeze up? So, a good piece of advice for even that alone would be like trying to code in front of people, like your family, like, hey, I'm gonna go into the living room. We're gonna cast my screen to the TV, and they don't know how to code at all. But then you explain everything step by step. That way, you because you know when you explain something, you actually you know it, you understand it better. So like you're trying to teach somebody something, you know what I mean? People, and I've got a family that's supportive 100%. I'm talking like video chat my brother or my mom when I was learning this stuff, being like, let me explain this to you real quick, and then yeah, and
Oh,
them
that's really
listening.
nice. Yeah.
But setbacks would be something that just happened to me just actually really recently was my first role at Onyx Media. Yeah, I'd been there for you know a year and a half, and then I got recruited to go work for another company, and it's a big company. Everybody knows the name of the company. I don't want to mention it, but so like I signed papers and everything, and then I was told to go and put my 2 weeks notice in, so I did. A week into my 2 weeks notice, there was like, hey, there's kind of like a pause at the moment on hiring. I was like, wait, but I'm already hired, right? It's like, well, they're going to push back your start date, maybe like a week. Cut to 3 months later, I'm interviewing at other places, didn't get hired on there, and that's how I got my role at Craft Digital. So that was a huge step back. It felt like
Wow.
it felt like I broke into tech and then somebody pulled me right out. but uh, yeah, yeah. So, but specifically, what I could say about that situation, just for anybody listening, is um, I would make sure that the recruiter advised me go ahead and put your 2 weeks notice in. I would ask in those situations, make sure you hear maybe from the client, or you get the recruiter to say, does the client say I should do that? I want to hear what the client says first because you know that advice wound up biting me in the butt.
Yeah, no, that's a really good point. And I think again, that's a really great reason why it's good to be in multiple communities because in those situations you could ask for their advice because just the other day somebody was asking a question about like um a contract role that they're looking into but that they know they don't want to maybe continue on or whatever. And so it's like, hey, should I do this? Should I do like getting advice on things that like, you don't have experience with or you've never seen before or that sound shady. It's great to have
Yeah,
your multiple communities because, like there's probably some people that have gone through the same thing and have good advice to share.
yeah, yeah. I mean, I went so as far with this company to be hired that I got an employee ID. So
Like,
I thought it
yeah,
was yeah.
that's nuts. Yeah.
Yeah, it's they had some setbacks on their. I'm giving too many clues, but they had some setbacks on the stock market for that company.
Yeah.
But uh, yeah. So, but like another loss would be to like to like let's really go to like a setback would be whenever and I don't think I ever shared this like on any socials anywhere, but I did in my communities to people is I worked at Amazon in the warehouse because I halfway believed. I'm also like super villain origin story from Lindsay. That's funny. But like if I so like when I left Aldi, I was like 3 months. I'm getting a job, yo. I'm going to be in tech. I'm going to be making, and it didn't happen. So I needed to go work at a warehouse. I needed to get a job somewhere that I could really pump. So I worked at Amazon warehouse, and like on riding the bus to that too because the car wreck. You know what I mean? So and that felt it almost felt like a setback, but I didn't take it completely. But I've had bad interviews and then taking on a project, trying to work through a project and like just get so frustrated. You know what I mean? Just like everybody has. And like, what does this mean? Why isn't this working? The docs say that this is how it works.
Yeah. Someone asked earlier if you were the one that did the emo Danny.
I can't confirm or deny that was me. Yes, yeah, I did that. He played some music and immediately I'm talking like one-handed search on ChatGPT, make this man an emo with eyeliner. Yeah, so yeah.
That's funny. Was it the used or like what is? I don't even know what other.
Oh yeah, like to me, he looked like Green Day. It looked like someone from Green Day or what's the other one? I forgot anyway. Yeah, so
Wait, was it Mr. Brightside that made you make the emo? I'm like, that's not emo.
Mr. Brightside. What is that? Is
Like,
that a
that's
band?
the opposite. It's like the opposite of emo.
Yeah, actually, I make a bunch of like those meme. A lot of those memes I make myself. Like so many of them I posted on LinkedIn. I make them myself, especially the ones that I put myself in. But like uh, I just come up with it's a good so that's a good engagement thing, right? If you share a
Hmm.
meme and you can make it give you like maybe I want to make a higher point out of with the meme. But when someone sees the meme, they laugh, and then I explain something. You know what I mean? Give like, hey, this is a funny meme, but here's a point. Here's a point people could miss about software development that you wouldn't know otherwise. And then I explain something or something. You know what I mean? Whatever, some problem that we encountered, but it gets people to first engage, laugh at that, and then they read.
Yeah. No, I agree. I've started using ChatGPT like primarily for image editing and generation, just to like connect with people on Twitter or like make them laugh. And I feel like it helps build the relationships. Someone the other day was like, I'm taking this because they actually liked it. Like it was a joke, but they liked it. It was like a cartoon portrayal of themselves doing something. And then another one was just completely ridiculous. But they were like, "Oh my gosh, this is gold." So I was like, it's just such, I agree. Like I even mentioned it in your intro. Like it's such a fun way to connect with people and then have like inside jokes for later, which is always my thing that I love. I love inside jokes and I love using the office meme where it's like, I wished I was a part of an inside joke one day.
Yeah, yeah. I wish I was. That's such a great. Yeah, um, yeah. Like the memes. It also like I'm almost like what they've said in the Power. I'm almost like a. Oh yeah, I'm almost like a co-host of the Power Hour in the DSD because I'm always posting I so quickly when something comes up like let me make a meme out of this and let it generate fast enough. But
Yeah,
Danny said that emo meme of him made it all the way to Alassian in the internal Slack channel. They were
it's
sending it to
amazing.
each other. Yeah, it's hilarious.
Yeah, and, like, I love that we're doing Laid Off Lounge publicly now, but it hurts my heart a tiny bit that, like, our chat doesn't have access to all the gifs and stuff that
Oh
always
no.
made it really funny, but, there's yeah, we have other streams that we can do that in, but, yeah, it's definitely one of my favorite things, but it's usually very distracting for the guest and for me because we're just, like, laughing at, all the gifs and stuff that are, like, coinciding with whatever you're saying. We're
Yeah,
just about out of time. Is there anything that I have that we haven't discussed that you want to mention? Let me throw your LinkedIn up here again because that's where you're most active. Definitely
yeah,
recommend you all connect with JC.
yeah. Throw me a connection, man. Throw me a follow, the connection. I'll send some funny stuff to make people laugh. No, I try to give like I've done coffee chats with people where I've given them the advice that I'm mentioning here too, and about some of it's like like you've use your LinkedIn as much as you can and try to make it like the joke of like the Instagram story. You know what I mean? Taking a picture on the tarmac. And, you know what I mean? Oh, coming on the private jet and it's not even yours. You are washing the plane. You know what I mean? Like something like that on LinkedIn. Like you know what I mean? Like I was like, oh man, we've been like at Onyx Media. It was a small team. There was only like 4 devs total, right? And it was 3 devs until I helped get somebody from the DST community hired. So there was 4, but there was three of. So it was like a small team, and the way I posted about it, like you would have thought that we were doing some kind of huge campaign across the company when it was huge relative to that company. So just
Yeah.
try to make your LinkedIn look like the IG the posers on IG boosting up their life. I think that's a
Yeah.
good piece of
But
advice.
but no, I agree. Make your LinkedIn interesting because it's like it's so much of the same. And so it's probably a breath of fresh air. Like whenever one of your cartoons or whatever the illustrations come up, the AI generated jokes, those are always they're hilarious.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh,
Um,
this is nice. It's not like a this is how my day went and this is how it has impacted my job. Like when it's like the hook and then the hidden paragraph and yeah, just like the typical
I'll give
LinkedIn post.
I think a good thing to leave on is you can fail without doing anything wrong, and failure doesn't have to be the end. It could just be a learning point, right? A quote from Jean-Luc Picard, captain of the Enterprise in Next Generation, is it is possible to commit no mistakes but yet still fail. That's not fail. That's not the end. That's just life.
Yeah.
I did that
No,
for David there, a fellow Trekkie.
yeah,
Keeps
Dave.
putting the meme in there. Yeah.
Yeah, no, that's a good one. Then that's a great way to end. I agree. Thank you so much, JC. I will call you JC now.
Yes, ma'am.
For all of your tips and tricks. And it looks like, with there were so many questions and you did, I feel like a ton of people have definitely benefited from your visit with us today. So thank you so much. And I will, I'll see you around LinkedIn. I hope more of y'all will see him on LinkedIn as well.
Yep. Tea Earl Grey hot. Yep. Live long and prosper, everybody.
Hey, bye. Thank you. Bye. Thanks,
Thank you.
everyone.